Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor. I share these What's for Dinner videos with you guys every week to hopefully give you guys some motivation to cook more for your family and to inspire you to try some new recipes. As always, any recipes that I mention will be linked down below. Now let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. It is Friday and yesterday was Thanksgiving, so of course for dinner tonight we have leftovers. Got some turkey, some cranberry sauce, a deviled egg, some broccoli casserole, some stuffing with some gravy on top, some mashed potatoes with some gravy, and the kids just have cranberry sauce, stuffing, turkey, and mashed potatoes with gravy, and Elijah likes deviled eggs, so he actually does have a deviled egg as well. We don't have a lot for leftovers. This will be the only night that we eat leftovers for dinner. I made my brother and my sister and my uncle each take a big plate, and so once Andy eats tonight, it will pretty much be gone. So I'm thankful for that. Don't have to eat lots of leftovers for days, but that is going to be dinner for Friday. It is Saturday night, and tonight for dinner I am making Brunswick Stew. If you've been here a while, you've seen this recipe. I have a whole video on it. I will have it linked down below. I'm going to show you all the ingredients I'm using today because I'm using a couple different things, and then I'm just going to fast forward through me cooking it. So if you want detailed instructions, the video of that will be linked down below. If I sound a little sniffly, it's because of this onion. I just cut it up and now my eyes are all watery and my nose is running, and that happens every time I cut onion, no matter what I try to do. Even when I was using that onion chopper, it started to be where I was still crying using that. So I don't know, man. But I think I'm just really sensitive to onions. So for this recipe, I have 4 tablespoons of butter over here melting, and then I'm going to cook up my 1 medium onion that I diced up pretty small. Then I've got some minced garlic and some frozen lima beans, and then usually I do frozen corn, but instead of doing that this time, I'm just using some of these frozen mixed vegetables. So it's carrots, corn, peas, and green beans because I already had this on hand, and so I'm going to use that. Then I have some tomato sauce. It calls for 8 ounces, which is half a can. This is a little bit more than half of a can, but I'm going to go ahead and throw that in there and use up that. I used part of it for another recipe. I can't remember what. Might have been the Mexican rice. But I had that left over. And then we've got a can of diced tomatoes. We've got our barbecue sauce, which we're using this Kansas City style, smooth and zingy. I've said this before. The flavor of your Brunswick stew is going to be really dependent on what barbecue sauce you use. If you use something more sweet, like Sweet Baby Ray's or the Sticky Fingers, which is a Carolina sweet, then your Brunswick stew is going to be sweeter. We prefer it to be more tangy, like vinegar based. So we use this because it's more tangy. So you use what kind of barbecue sauce you want for the flavor. Then I'm going to do 3 cups of chicken broth. I've got some water that's going to come to a boil at my kettle, and then I'll mix in some chicken bouillon, salt and pepper and thyme, and then I've got hot sauce as well. And then for the meat, I always do pulled pork. This is from about a month ago. I had it in the freezer, barbecue pulled pork that I made in the crock pot. And then I always usually do chicken, but we have leftover turkey. This is the last of our turkey. It's about a cup of turkey, and I went ahead and chopped it up at lunchtime after we ate some at lunch. And so we're going to use that instead of chicken. I did this last year, and it was amazing, and it just uses up the last of the leftovers. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on making this. Can y'all hear my kids arguing and crying? Yeah. Okay, so here's our dinner. I'm going to let it cool off for a few minutes before we actually eat, but I went ahead and put it all in our bowls. And we've got 3 more rolls from Thanksgiving left. So me and the kids are going to eat those. And then we've got some leftover bread from Thanksgiving as well. So Andy will eat the bread with the Brunswick Stew. And we have plenty for leftovers for lunch tomorrow. Possibly dinner. I don't know if we're going to do it for dinner tomorrow. We'll see. But that is going to be dinner for tonight. It is Sunday night, and tonight for dinner I am just kind of winging it. I pulled some things from the cabinet to try to use up and make this meal. I had written on the meal plan to have leftovers for tonight, but there really isn't any leftovers from Thanksgiving or the Brunswick Stew after Andy took some for lunch today. So instead, trying to work with what I have, as I said, because I have yet to go grocery shopping. I'm planning on doing that tomorrow. So I found this recipe for French's crispy onion chicken. It uses the French fried onions. You're supposed to use the whole container like this, that's 6 ounces. But I only had about half left from Thanksgiving. But I had these crispy hatch chilies in the cabinet as well. And I had about half a bag of these. So I ended up mixing those together. Those really aren't that spicy. So I mixed those together and crushed them up. So I've got that in there. And it's going to be, what did I say? Crispy onion chicken. So I've got 2 chicken breasts here that I sliced in half horizontally so that they're thinner. So this will not cook as long as the recipe said, because they use just like regular whole chicken breasts. I'm thinking this is going to take like 20 minutes to cook for me versus theirs was like 30 to 35 minutes for a whole breast. So I've got that here, and I'm going to dip it in a butter mixture. I've got 1 stick, so half a cup of salted butter that I melted. And then I'm going to add in half a teaspoon of garlic powder. They said to do garlic salt, but I feel like there's already enough salt, so I'm not going to add any more salt. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of ground mustard and a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. And then it also calls for pepper, but I'm going to leave the pepper out since I did these hatch chilies in there, and they have a little bit of spice. So I'm going to take the chicken, dip it in the butter mixture, dip it in here, and then put up my baking sheet that I lined with foil for easy cleanup. And then this will go in the oven on 350 for, I'm thinking, like I said, 20 minutes. Okay, dinner is done. To go with our chicken, I made a can of green beans, and then I made some fried potatoes and onions. I seasoned that with a Badia and the Tony's Creole seasoning. And so here are the kids' plates. I already cut up their chicken, and I already tasted the chicken, and it's delicious. I will definitely make it again, but probably with some little tweaks. As you can see, like a lot of the breading that was on the bottom came off. So I think next time I would just brush the top of the chicken with that butter mixture and then press the like crushed up onions into the top, similar to the way I do like my cheddar crusted chicken or the cheddar or the Parmesan crusted tilapia. So like similar to that, because the stuff on the bottom mostly just stuck to the foil and like kind of fell off. And I also, what is down there got kind of soggy since you don't flip it over. So I think I'll just skip that next time. And then I'll also make it less messy and like less dishes. So yeah, that's my recommendation for it. I will have the link to the recipe down below for you guys if you're interested in trying it. But that is going to be dinner for Sunday night. It is Monday night, and tonight for dinner I am making a recipe that I haven't made in a very long time. I feel like it's been years. I was reminded of it by somebody who watches my videos, commented on the video, and was like, we love this recipe. So happy to find the video again. It's like a family favorite. And I was like, oh man, we love that recipe, and it's been so long since I made it. So I do have a video on this already, but it's like really old. Like I said, like years old. I think I made that video like at the very beginning of me doing What's for Dinners, or like right before it. So that is what I'm going to make tonight. I'm going to show you guys how I make it. I think I said it's called Italian Crescent Bake. So I have a roll of crescent rolls. Those are going to go in my pie plate, and I'm going to work on cooking my ground beef first. I'm doing it a little different than the original recipe. I'm going to cook the ground beef with some minced garlic, some Italian seasoning, and half of this onion that I had left from the fried potatoes last night. So I'm going to get that all browned up. I've got a jar of marinara sauce. I'm only going to use about a cup of that. And then I've got some mozzarella cheese that I'm going to grate or shred with my KitchenAid. But I'm heating up my cast iron, and I'm going to go ahead and work on cooking the ground beef. Okay, while the meat continues to brown, I'm going to go ahead and work on putting my crescent rolls in my little pie plate. I am going to spray it with some cooking spray just to be sure it doesn't stick. And then we are going to lay it out with the points facing outward, kind of hanging over the pie plate, because we're going to stretch it over the mixture once it's in there. So the original recipe says to make it hang like 3 inches over the edge. And then we're going to press everything together on the inside to form a crust. Okay, now I'm going to add about a cup of mozzarella cheese to the bottom on top of our crescent dough. Okay, my meat is browned. I removed any excess grease, and I have turned off the heat, but I'm going to go ahead and add in about a cup of pasta sauce and mix that all around, and then this is going to go on top of the cheese. Okay, now I'm going to bring these dough tips into the center. It says they don't have to overlap. And then I'm going to top this with another half a cup of the mozzarella cheese and some of this Italian seasoning. And then I have preheated my oven to 375, and this is gonna bake for 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, to go with our Italian crescent pie, we just made a little salad. This is Andy's. He's got tomatoes, Parmesan cheese, and the Aldi version of the Olive Garden dressing. And then I've got ranch and everything but the bagel seasoning and cucumbers on mine. Elijah's is like mine, but no tomatoes. And then we all know Lily doesn't like salad, so she just has tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers. But that is going to be dinner for Monday. It is Tuesday night, and tonight for dinner I made fried rice, and then I made some orange chicken. I made it a super easy way. I picked up these honey battered breast tenders at Aldi. If you saw my grocery haul, you saw these. It's our first time trying them, but they were like highly recommended on the Aldi groups. So I cooked those in the air fryer for probably about 15 minutes, tossing every 5 minutes. And then I tossed them in this orange sauce from Panda Express. We've got those there. And then I just made my fried rice, and I shared that in depth last week. So I will have that video linked down below if you're interested in that. But that is going to be our dinner for Tuesday. It is Wednesday, and tonight for dinner we are going off the meal plan and just having a staple that I've always got in the house. We've got grilled cheese and tomato soup. So this is our favorite Progresso hearty tomato soup. I talk about it all the time. We absolutely love it. And then we've got some grilled cheese on sourdough bread. These are for the kids on on sourdough, as I said, with American cheese. I'm not really hungry right now. The reason we went off the meal plan is because we had a late lunch at like 3 o'clock. We picked up a pizza from our favorite pizza place. So with having like lunch so late, I didn't feel like cooking dinner. So we're just having grilled cheese and tomato soup. But that is going to be dinner for Wednesday. Okay, it is Thursday night, and tonight for dinner I am doing lasagna roll-ups because I decided I didn't want to do regular lasagna this week. I'm just winging it. I've looked at a couple recipes. I'm not following any of them exactly, so I will definitely walk you through what I am doing. I've got a pound of ground beef here that I am going to cook up in my cast iron pan with some garlic powder, some Italian seasoning, and some onion powder. And then once that's browned, I will drain off any grease if there is any and add in this jar of marinara sauce and just warm that up. And then I've got some water. I'm going to salt it, bring it to a boil, and then I will boil my lasagna noodles. I think there's like 12 in there, which is about what most of the recipes call for. So that's what I'm going to use. And then I've got some cheese. So most of the time people do ricotta cheese and their lasagna. We prefer cottage cheese. So I'm going to use, let's see, how much is in here? This is 24 ounces. So I'm going to use most of this, probably about 16 ounces, so like 2 cups of cottage cheese. And then I've got some Parmesan as well as some mozzarella. And then I'm also going to shred some more mozzarella. And I'll mix all of the cheeses together with an egg and some of the same seasonings that I'm seasoning the meat with. And then I'll be back once the beef is cooked to roll these up and get everything assembled. And I'm also going to go ahead and preheat my oven now to 375. Okay, here is my setup for doing these lasagna roll-ups. And guys, I really don't know why I decided to do this. This is way more work than regular lasagna, especially since I don't usually like pre-cook my noodles. I just put like regular old lasagna noodles. Doesn't even have to be the oven ready ones in the oven, and as long as you have enough liquid, it's fine. But for some reason, I wanted it this way, so this is what we're doing. I've got my cooked noodles back here. I rinsed them with a little bit of cold water. They're still extremely hot. So I've got tongs, and I'm going to lay them out on this parchment paper. And then I've got the cheese mixture, so I'm going to spread some of that on there. And then I'm also going to do about a spoonful of meat sauce on each roll up as well. And then I will roll it up, which will be easier to show you all than explain. And then I will put them in my baking dish. This is a 9 by 13. And I am going to put about a third of the sauce in the bottom of here. And then a third will go inside the rolls. Bless you. And then the other third of sauce will go on top of the rolls once they're all rolled up in the pan. And then cover it with cheese. I hope all this makes sense. You'll see me do it. And then it's going to go in the oven on 375, like I said, for probably about 40 minutes. Here are our plates. We're keeping it simple tonight and just having this because I don't feel like doing anything else. I don't think I would make this again. It just feels like a lot of work compared to regular lasagna. I'm sure it's going to taste amazing. I do like the fact that you can just kind of like go in there and scoop one little square out and you don't have to like cut it or anything. I like that, but I don't feel like lasagna roll-ups are entirely worth it. I think I would just rather make regular lasagna. But yeah, that is going to be dinner for Thursday. And that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. If you guys have tried any of my recipes lately, I would love to know how you like them in the comments down below. And if you plan on trying any of the recipes that I share with you today, let me know that down below as well. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!